iPhone fans, listen up. Apple is unveiling not one, but two new smartphones, and one only costs $99.
What? Well, joining us to explain the motivation behind the tech company's newest iteration of their best-selling product is Arise Business Correspondent Andrew Schmertz.
Andrew.
Welcome.
Thank you. You know, I like overpaying for my Apple products. So this is a really big change.
Don't we all?
Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? So much fun. Anyway, so $99 for a phone. Come on, explain this.
So Apple is under a lot of pressure because they're losing market share. And they're especially losing market share overseas because the phones are subsidized here in the United States. Verizon, AT&T, it doesn't cost them just $300 to sell you a phone. It costs them a lot more. So they're subsidized, but that's not the case in certain places overseas. So Apple has been under pressure to lower their prices, and now they've come out with this $99 version. Some analysts say it's not cheap enough. Some analysts say now you've sort of lost the cachet of having one of these devices. So it's a question of whether Apple made the right decision here or not.
Okay, so does this $99 phone really work? I mean, is it still an Apple smartphone? And how is it different?
I love Apples and I love iPhones, but they never really worked if you had a phone call, all right?
Siri, can't you hear me?
But trust me, and I've always had Apple products my entire life.
No.
But the answer is yes. Basically what Apple has done, from what we understand, is taken an older model, put it in a plastic case, thereby lowering its cost of production and making this an offering. But the question is, what's going to happen is the $99 going to start cannibalizing some of its higher-end products? Is it really going to sell? Can it really compete against the Samsung products, which have been coming on so strong, even though Samsung almost blatantly ripped off every single portion of the iPhone? That's what Apple says. But they've been selling overseas very well.
And they made them cute, too. They come in a bunch of different colors, right?
That's right. So only Apple, by the way, I remember when they came out with the white phone, they say now in white. And everyone was like, wow, now that you have a color, a different color, and they kind of made that such a big deal, people ran out and got it. They're trying to obviously capture that again. They have charcoal, they have a bunch of different bright fluorescent colors, basically.
Green, yellow, blue.
Wow.
And so that might appeal to create some extra.
I like the appeal of the plastic because it won't break as easily.
Well, they're saying it won't break as easy, that it's less expensive for them to produce, and that helped them lower the costs.
So how will this play in emerging markets like, say, a China or Nigeria or India?
So Apple simultaneously made the announcement in California and in Beijing. And this is the first time that they've unveiled products in China. They've had a love-hate relationship with China because Chinese have been accused of ripping off some of the technology.
But a lot of the Apple products are made in China.
That is correct. They're made at China and Foxconn. And the real issue is that the Chinese analysts and Chinese tech bloggers are saying this isn't going to do the trick. That's not cheap enough, and that people have moved on to other products. But Apple really sees a huge market in China, obviously, like everybody else does, and that's where they can maybe sell a bunch of products.
Well, the other item that they're hoping to sell a bunch of is the phones they're releasing at the same time as the 5S. Now, this, I think it's cool. It comes with the fingerprint thing to start.
Right.
You don't have to unlock it anymore with numbers. You just fingerprint,
you can
right?
use any of your fingerprints, and you can unlock it, and you could also buy products with it. So right now, when you go to iTunes, you have to put in your password. Now you can just use your fingerprint. So they're taking
that's hot,
cool.
right?
It is pretty cool.
That's pretty revolutionary.
I think that's the coolest thing. The technology's been around for a while, but they say that it's now accurate, and they say it's small enough that they were able to get it onto a phone, and so that they were able to push this product out. There's and in this case, they're leading the market a little bit because Samsung is probably right behind them.
So what if I forced you to buy me something and I was like, Andrew, buy me that Chanel bag?
Well,
that's better than taking your finger off.
That's basically what you tried this morning already. Interestingly, it won't work if you take my finger off. They claim, this is rather gruesome, but people ask the question, the technology really basically, unless you do it right away, once your finger goes to room temperature, it won't work. And it senses the body heat as well.
That is smart.
So there's a bunch of iPhone thefts out there. You don't want there to be a bunch of thumb thefts as well.
Right, exactly.
Thumb theft.
So ultimately, does Apple hope that this double release gimmick that they're putting together will basically get them their mojo back?
Yeah, absolutely. Apple's stock has been sliding for some time now. They don't have really the excitement of the old products. There was some concern when Steve Jobs passed away that they wouldn't be able to keep the innovation going. And so clearly this is just another step in them hoping to, keep in mind, this company is still enormously popular.
Yes.
Makes enormously popular products. So if they're not growing like they used to, it's a 30-year-old company. Okay. I think the investors have to come to realize that.
Well, speaking of stocks, Andrew, I heard you were at the New York Stock Exchange this morning, seeing the ringing of the bell going down?
This was a very special day, I want to say. My brother David Payne is the co-founder of the 9/11 Day of Service and My Good Deed. And there's David right there on the left side, clapping in the blue shirt. And he's there with Jay Winnick on the right-hand side. They co-founded a 9/11 charity about 10 years ago. And the idea is that you donate one day of your time a year to do a special project. And they've done an enormous job. It has taken off nationwide. And they were honored today on the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh, congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you, and thanks to your brother, too.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
All right, so we want to know what you guys think about these new phones. Tweet us at AriseTV360.